Hello and welcome back to We Talk Talent, our highly popular interview series where we uncover stories, strategies, and solutions driving the future of talent, HR innovations, and leadership. I'm Abhik Roy, Associate Content and Community from ETHRWorld, and it's my pleasure to introduce the guest of our today's episode, Rajiv Naithani, Chief People Officer from Persistent Systems. Hi Rajiv, we are so glad to have you here. Welcome to We Talk Talent.
Thank you, Abhi. Thank you for the opportunity. It's great to talk to you as part of this series.
Thank you. Same here. It's a pleasure having you on We Talk Talent, and looking forward to a great conversation. I'll start with my first question. The tech industry has seen some of the most intense disruptions in the last few years, be it AI or the shifting skill demands or new ways of working. As the chief people officer, what are your top HR priorities to navigate these emerging realities?
See, I'll start with a simple thought. AI will definitely redefine HR leadership, but success won't be measured by how fast technology changes. It will be measured by how confident people feel navigating that change. Because every technology wave brings excitement, but it also brings anxiety. And that's where HR comes to play an important role there. And as CPO, my first priority is making people AI fluent and not AI fearful. At Persistent, we don't see AI as just another tool. We are helping people work with AI like thinking partner. When I talk about agentic bots, they're going to be working in collaboration with them as thinking partners. That means building judgment, contextual reasoning, and decision skills are going to be important elements of that role and not just prompts or platforms. Our goal is not to create a few AI experts, but to create a workforce that is comfortable and curious about AI across roles. Second, helping people transition and not feel replaced, right? And this is a you talked about disruption, the changes. So when anything of this kind happens, and any major shift will create a lot of new roles or emerging roles before it creates into new titles. So HR has to work and act as a career guide, helping people move into emerging roles rather than letting uncertainty build silently. And the third, in my view, is getting the human and AI balance right. See, AI is brilliant when it comes to speed, repetition, and scale. And humans are brilliant when it comes to creativity, empathy, and judgment. Our responsibility is to design work where AI amplifies human capability, not where people feel reduced by it. So the balance is the key of it. And in my view, the fourth one would be the making learning continuous and real. Skills today expire fast. So can we create an ecosystem where the learning is continuous? The push-based learning doesn't work anymore. You need to create a pull-based learning. You need to ensure that the learning is integrated into the on-the-job perspective of the ecosystem for our employees. And that's going to be the real important element. And finally, doing all of this responsibly.
Yeah, that's a great response. Thank you so much, Rajiv. So what I understand, that scaling talent and technology in tandem, that's very important. And my next question is on that only, amplifying human potential. Technology itself is evolving across multiple fronts. From AI, digital engineering, no code technology, so much is going around.
Yeah.
So at Persistent, how are these transformations reshaping, your learning and capability building agenda? And any impact you would like to share, these efforts have made.
Correct. So, if I continue from what I said earlier, all these shifts, whether it is because of AI or the work models shifts, one thing very clearly coming up is learning can no longer be episodic. It has to be continuous. And I was talking about this when I was responding to your earlier question. At Persistent, what we have consciously done is we have moved away from the idea of training programs as calendar based or event based. For us, building a continuous learning ecosystem is very essential part of our employee learning and growth perspective, as well as enabling the overall business outcomes standpoint as well. And at the heart of this ecosystem is a persistent university. So when we look at the persistent university, we look at this as a global learning hub, not just for the courses, but for the creativity, collaboration, and even capability building at scale perspective. So what happens is persistent university allows us to do scale learning interventions across roles, geographies, and career stages. Now, that is about the capability of the university we have. Now, skill is very important, right? Because we are a 27,000 plus people organization. We are fast moving organization at the same time. So this persistent university from a skill perspective has already clocked over 2 million learning hours. And most importantly is in our business, which is IT services business, the deployability of our people into the live projects with our customers become very important. And we have reskilled significant portion of our population instead of going out and hiring people from outside. So we have the scale capability in terms of building talent, skills, capabilities inside the organization as well. But at the same time, skill is not enough. We need to have depth as well. And depth from a technology skills perspective, we bring through our persistent digital engineering academy perspective, and that plays a critical role in terms of building those capabilities for the organization. This academy, if I were to tell you and help you in a layman's context, all our job roles are part of different job families. For example, you may come from marketing, marketing could be job family for you, but you may have multiple roles there. I come from HR. HR is a job family, but somebody may be doing recruitment, other person could be doing CNB, HR ops, etc. Similarly, in development work, while a developer is a job family or development is a job family, but there are different roles which people end up doing. So what we did was we went beyond job families and identified over 170 skill clusters within each job family from a technology skills perspective and have created over 650 curated learning paths for those 170 skill clusters for our employees. That is how we are actually creating depth of learning. It is not that, okay, and if all of you are a part of one job family, you go and do this learning program. That doesn't work. It actually works basis the role. And in addition to the depth and skill which I talked about, there's a big focus we have from our AI Academy perspective. AI is our big focus area. The objective is to build the comprehensive learning abilities in the organization, which spans across levels, roles, and market demand basis. And at the same time, all of this has resulted into thousands of partner certifications and internal AI certifications for our employees. And that positions us well and responsibly well as well from a scalable AI adoption across the organization perspective.
Great. Now, talking about experiences, employee experience is, right now is being said, as a very critical differentiator for businesses, for attracting and, retaining talent, especially as, businesses are feeling that, talent crunch. But that's on paper, in practice, from your experience, what tangible impacts does good EX actually deliver? And, at Persistent, how are you leveraging EX to, drive better business outcomes?
See, first of all, you rightly called it EX because lot many people still live in the word of calling it employee value proposition. And in my view, and at Persistent, very, very candidly, we are moving in the direction, consciously, we're moving in the direction of talking about employee value experience and not employee value proposition. Because reason being, proposition is what you promise, right? And experience is what people actually live every day. So you're delivering that experience. And especially in today's context, for example, we have almost close to one fourth of our population coming from Gen Z, and they only believe in experience. And in few years, they will be the dominant population in our organization and in any other organization from a tech industry perspective. So if you are not following employee experience proposition in your offerings, you have a big problem. And that is already a focus for us. Now, where do I see in a company like us or industry like us where employee experience would show up very clearly in different places? Number one, in my view, is retention. Second is productivity. And third is customer outcomes. So retention is very clear because if you provide the experience to your people, if you're providing them learning growth opportunities, I talked about the way we manage the overall learning context for our employees. We have a very good career framework in place from a growth perspective. And when people have this opportunity of learning and consistently growing, when they find the organization is a human organization, they listen, they care, when the leadership is available, uh, the ecosystem is very supportive, they would like to stay longer with the organization. And that is where the experience EX element comes to play. In fact, I'll tell you another thing on the experience part. We are leveraging AI in a big way. And for us, AI is not in silos. AI powered by human synergy. So we have a assist framework through which we actually provide click-based services to our employees. So as an employee, I can go to Pi Assist, which is the framework I was talking about. It's a AI bot-based, Gen AI-driven solution which is in place where employees can get solutions as per their convenience. There are 49 languages in which they can actually converse with that platform and they get the services. My vision is that they need to actually have complete, they don't need to have any dependency on help desk. We want to go away with the help desk. We want to replace help desk with the Pi Assist bot system. We want to also replace the dependency on people. If you need a letter, why do you need to reach out to somebody? Pisces should be able to give you. That kind of experience we are visualizing. That's a vision we have, and that's where we are moving from a journey perspective as well. Second thing I talked about productivity. Now, what happens is most often what is the most nuisance value driven impact on productivity? In a working context, it's friction. Friction could be because you may not have someone listening to what you're talking about, or you want some solution. People are not available from your leadership perspective to listen to you, to help you support. The team is not collaborating enough. Availability of people, including leaders, the ecosystem support. If all these are having friction points, then your productivity gets affected because it's not about individual heroism. It's a collective success, right? You're dependent. It's a dependent world in which we operate, especially in a technology industry context. So, in our context, we make sure that our leaders are listening, the ecosystem is enabling, and that directly helps in terms of avoiding these friction points which I was talking about. Now, the third is the customer outcomes which I was talking about, right? In my view, if you're a happy team, they will always deliver great quality outcomes to your customer. And the experience which you are delivering to your employees, that also travels to the customer in some form or other. And that is, in my view, is very important. If you focus on EX, that will show up to your customers also. They will see that how credible, how engaging the workforce is, which is actually delivering solutions and business outcomes to them as well. So these are the three different areas, Abhik, in which we look at our overall experience journey from a EX perspective to our employees.
Great. Thank you for that sharing that. Now, it'll be a miss from my end if I don't ask you this because you have been a people leader for different top tech companies. How critical do you think AI is in HR strategy right now? And also, how are you leveraging AI in HR, to make workforce, more agile, future ready? You have already, given a glimpse of it. If you could, dive deeper into that.
Yeah, maybe I'll repeat part of it again, but AI is absolutely central to our HR strategy, right? And we are very intentional about this. In fact, most recently, I had my presentation to the team during the town hall, also to the board, where I talked about AI is going to be a big game changer in the way we look at the employee experience and journey in the organization perspective. At the same time, AI is not about replacing people. It's about removing frictions from the work, from the decision making, so that people can focus on what truly adds value. From HR perspective, there are three areas where we are looking at leveraging this. Is First one is to simplify work and improve day-to-day productivity. I talked about the Pi Assist, where people services should be available at the click of a button to our employees, right? They don't need to chase multiple systems, approvals, people just to get the answers. So that is one, which is very employee focused, service oriented perspective. The second is today when I was talking about Gen Z, right? I was talking about the way the overall demographics of workplace are changing as well. The employee experience at a scale can be delivered only when it is customized as well, basis different needs. And that is where AI will play significant important role in my view. For example, one of because so for one size fits all kind of thing won't work, and that's why AI is going to be addressing this, right? So one example is about career. We have a career assist framework which we are trying to devise or put together, where we want employee to have the complete view and visibility about his or her career journey. So when I join the organization from outside, whether I'm a fresher, young graduate, or a lateral hire, joint persistent, I should not chase and figure out what are the different career opportunities available, vertical, diagonal, and horizontal across different job families. Can I get that view with the help of AI? And also get to know what does it mean from those roles perspective? What are those different expected KRAs around those roles? What kind of skills and competencies are expected? What will what will lead me to get into the progression to different roles, whether it's vertical and otherwise, which I was talking about. And that is and also the learning path, integrating the learning part to the individual. So we have that vision where career assist should be able to actually help us bring all of that together for our employees. And the third, in my view, is the AI has to deeply embed into the continuous learning part, which I was talking about initially. And that should be very personalized and relevant to the role. You can't completely leave it pull based. You have to have some push based because that's where the relevance of the business will also come to play. So these are the three different areas. There are many others where we are looking at predictive analytics, insightful decision making from an analytics perspective. But if I really talk about employees, these are the main three areas where we are leveraging AI in big way.
Wonderful. Now, one last question for you, Rajiv.
So,
You personally, have always, been passionate about fitness. You have always championed employee well-being. Uh, so I want to know, for other HR leaders, what will be your key learnings from your own fitness journey on, creating a work culture where well-being is actually prioritized, in practice? And, also another question, a message you would like to give to, employees in general on how they can better integrate work and life, integrate well-being in their daily work themselves.
sure. See, since you asked me to personalize it in terms of my
Yeah.
learning from the fitness journey, see, and link it with the corporate context, one of the biggest learnings in my own journey, if I were to bring, is well-being cannot be seen as an initiative. It has to be a way of working. You can design the best wellness programs in the world, but if culture rewards burnout and glorifies exhaustion, nothing really changes. What I now, if I were to talk to you about persistent, and what I genuinely appreciate about persistent is that we take a holistic view of well-being. We don't just look at it from the lens of physical health or mental health. We look at it, uh, we look at the overall well-being from multiple dimensions perspective, whether it's a physical, intellectual, emotional, social, even financial well-being. And this is the only organization probably, because at least this is my sixth tech company, and I've never seen this kind of focus in elsewhere. We have a dedicated My Life function, which actually only focuses on well-being of the employees. So that's kind of perspective we have built here. Now you had a follow through in terms of the message for employees. I think when we look at the well-being or the balance, right? I think first among everything else would be to embed balance into your daily work. My message to employees: be practical. Balance doesn't come from doing less. It comes from doing the right things with awareness. And that is very important. So, what are you doing? What is that right thing? Do you have that awareness? It's not about doing less or more. It's doing the right thing. Number one. Number two is success is not about how fast can we run. It is about how long can you run with the same energy and clarity and peace of mind. That is actually the well-being. And I see that some of the people really practice that well and they live that, and that brings a lot of resilience, especially going back to this life is a circle, and so is the discussion of ours. You started with the disruptions. You talked about what really is happening in the context. Now, when you live in the disruption life, there's a lot of pressure which is coming from all sides. Now, when you have so much of pressure coming from all sides, your inner resilience becomes very important, because your inner resilience will help you manage your stress. And stress is very simple from a formula perspective. It's always pressure divided by inner resilience. So if you being holistic and you pay attention to self-resilience, you will never have a problem in any corporate life. And that's the end on this particular ask a week from me.
Yeah. Great. I think those are some great, wonderful, learnings to share. Thank you, Rajiv, for joining We Talk Talent. We have reached the end of the interview. This conversation has been full of insights for me and I'm sure for the viewers. Thank you for joining We Talk Talent.